Hello, it's Simone, your favorite neighborhood nerd, and I am just here for a cozy, not so sure, journaling session. To me, it feels like I haven't touched my journal this week at all. At least I cannot recall when the last time was that I touched it. So I am just going to check. Oh yes. No, was that this week or last week? I have to check my planner. This is funny. It must have been this week because, let me check for real Z's now. Yes, that was this week. Yep. Alrighty. So, what I have been doing is stamping the dates or the week that I am documenting up here somewhere. So I think because I've been, and here I put it there, so maybe I'll put it last because it does look cool when it's on this side. So I have it this way. I also put it this way, that way. I think that's, nope, this. And maybe I can talk while I'm working. Maybe I cannot. I have no idea. And I'm also not so sure how I'm going to be able to talk while I'm doing stuff. Should have thought about this more. I want to use this and just somehow stick it in. I want to maybe can I somehow, maybe what if I don't know. He's too fat. Yeah, I did it. I bought a backpack. Now I have to go backpacking at least once. If I'm saying my name, they always add an A to the end instead of an E, but that's okay. I'd rather be called Simona, which is closer to Simone. It's not it's E. Then, no, I don't even think I want to use this, even though it's really cool. I want some of this. If I were to frame this, it would stand out more. I'm talking and thinking at the same time. That's never a good idea. I do think I want to slice this. Or I'll attach, I don't know what to put here. I don't even remember what I did this last week. So, what if I did this and then I do we care how fat this gets? No, we don't. So this is in here. There's purple here, there's yellow. I could use my go-to washi tapes to stick things in, or not two, four. This one, this, and this. All four I received from the stationery selection. These two are exclusive to the stationery selection, and this is MT washi tape, which I love this single colored tape. I want so many more of these because I think they're just so fabulous, but I have so many colored ones. So I want to put this here. And yes, as you can see, I need these lines on here. Now I've created a really weird space right here, which is okay. I think I need 2 tapes though to stick this down, because I don't think it's gonna stay on here. Just a little. Because it's so heavy, I'd rather have it secured on both sides. Okay, so now this is in there. If I am going to pull out my stuff. So I have been thinking, oh wow, she does do that sometimes, occasionally. Which color? Purple, maybe I'll do this brown. I feel like if I am going to add a little bit of background color to this, then it stands out a little more. So the first thing that I started doing this week, just to test it out, and also because I really like how they write, how they feel, is that I did not use my my fountain pens with colored inks in them. I went from all the different colors to just black again, and I've been using these Tom Studios pens more. Mostly, actually, I used both of them. I feel like I need to add a little bit more so that it's not as tiny as I... Yeah, what was I saying? This one I used more because the nib is a little bit thicker than the one that is in here. I think it's the 0.2 needle tip that is in here. And it's really great for these fine details. I outlined the watercolor writing here with that pen, that tip. And then here, this is the Tom Studio Wren, and this is the Wren tip. I actually don't know if there is a measurement for this writing tip, but it's more felt tip like. And this is the line that this does. And I really like it for writing. So I've been using these two, and I have to say that I'm really enjoying them both more than I thought I would. Actually, I knew people are singing their praises. For me, that is absolutely justified. They are really good. I very much like them. The only thing that I dislike about them is the fact that this pen is so slim. And for me personally, I don't think this needs to be the duo. I know there is a Lumos that doesn't have this. It's nice to have for sure, but it's not a necessity for me because I enjoy writing with this grip, but I don't like adding another one here. So having two sizes of nibs is absolutely fine for me. And I have those in these two pens. What I love about these pens though is that they're reusable, refillable, and it's not adding any more waste. Now, if I showed you the black pens that I have in my stash still, you would probably say that that is not true for me, because buying these makes these other ones even more a waste of lifetime. Nature. So I'm going to stick this down here. I like this a lot. Do I want to cut this off? Yes, I do. Let's try and see if we can fold this in so that it's straight. I've wrote my whole Tomoe river paper or journal paper misery down here. If you've watched my journal thoughts video, then you might know that I thought this is what I wanted, this journal, as well as this journal here. But to be honest, I am not here. I haven't arrived at contentment. That might be for two reasons. I haven't given myself enough time. The other reason could be that this is not what I thought I wanted. Now, I'm not making any changes right now. I've learned that too. I am waiting to see. And I thought I talked about this in that video. Maybe I should link it, right? Let me see if I can do that. 1201. Journal video. Thoughts. So the first is that well, yes, I'm giving myself some time. What I wanted was the reliability of the MD paper. I do not have to fear that anything bleeds through. All of my fountain pens and inks will work on this paper reliably. I really like the way my pens feel on this paper too. I have been using this before switching over here. This is how I got this. This is where all of that thought process started, that I really enjoyed writing in this MD paper notebook. All of my pens felt good, and because I use front and back of these pages, I realized how freeing it feels if you don't constantly have to worry about what happens on the other side. With that mindset, I set out to go into these journals here. I decided I was going to stop my Take a Note 68 GSM Sanzen Tomoe River paper journal because it just felt so... I realized how much angst I was having when I was going in here about how my pens would perform in here, that yeah, I dreaded using this, and so I wanted reliable paper. Let me turn on the light. Now I'm having different issues. Now I'm like, the size is so small. I don't really know if this is actually what I want. I really enjoyed the space that I had on the other one, and now I'm filling the pages up again. I like that. I really like filled up pages, but is this where I currently want to be? That's the other question. I don't know. I really like these pages with the colored ink, for sure. I can also see myself going back to all black, which I am currently doing this week. Just seeing and trying different things. I definitely sketched more in the other one because there was more space. I also thought that, this I could view as a page per day kind of style. And the vertical layout is very similar or reminiscent of the very long vertical columns that a week on 4 pages has as a vertical layout. So I thought the jump in here wouldn't be too bad, but I'm really struggling with enjoying these 2 journals. One of my Discord friends mentioned that she really hates some papers. She used that very strong word, and that got me thinking, and I was like, what if the reason that I don't enjoy writing in here, or that I'm not using these journals as much as I thought I was going to, is because of the paper? So I pulled out also the expectation that I have. Let me not forget this. So I pulled out this where I started in the beginning of this year. I journaled every single day, almost every single day, obviously, in February when I inked a pen. I had started a little earlier. Oh, even earlier. Okay. Yes, I kind of needed an outlet that I just needed to write, and this size works really well for me. So I thought, you know what, let me just open a random page, and I put here August 25th. What if I came back to this for journaling? The paper, even though I enjoy the MD paper, this is what I really love. And the second the nib touched this paper, I was like, oh, I missed you so much. So I started because I'm already redating the pages, it doesn't really need to be daily. So I started using these date stickers that I'm collecting in this notebook, and I started using those to redate the pages. Now, we are in Hobonichi season, and the Hobonichi FOMO season, and I'm a little hesitant because what if me going in here is just a way of my subconscious FOMO brain to justify buying an A6 Hone for 2026. So I'm a little wary, trusting myself. I really love that this is hardcover. I have to admit that this is so nice. But if this is really what I'm craving, I have a lot of pages left to fill. And redating this is not an issue at all. Doesn't do any harm. I'm also not really happy about the quotes here. So I'm trying to talk myself. I'm convincing myself that I do have 2 A6 Hobonichi notebooks from earlier releases that if this ends up being a thing that is continuing beyond this week or next week, then I am very free to just continue using this. I am already not using this in the year that it was released. So there's no reason for me to say that I have to have a dated 2026 one. I checked the website. Atlas Stationeries. Today actually is the Hobonichi release day. And an A6 Hone, no, that was the A5, is 61 bucks. Are you kidding me? I really love Tomoe River paper. I like the Sanzen paper, and I'm actually, even though I thought I was going to be completely against it, I'm not opposed to give the Sanzen paper that is in the 2026 planners another try or a chance, because I've seen some paper tests and I think it is very close to what's in the 2024 books, and I really enjoy the 2024 paper. So I am not buying a Hobonichi Hon or A6 planner because it is dated. I am not having the chance to go beyond that single page, even if I just expect myself to write 1 page a day. And I don't like those quotes. So I don't like the price. I don't really like that there's dates. I don't like the quotes. Why would I even consider buying one? I have A6 notebooks that I can use should the need occur for another notebook. That was my aside talk. However, I realized that this is the paper that I really love. I mentioned in that journal video as well that I most likely will purchase a take a note, because that is really something that I want to give another shot, and that planner isn't easily available. Like a Hobonichi, I can totally purchase on December 28th, and there's definitely one available somewhere. Now with the take a note, those sell out almost every year. The times that I have followed and considered the take a note planner, it was sold out by the time that I looked for it. So if the small chance exists when they go on pre-order that I might still be considering moving into an take a note A5 planner as my creative journal for 2026, I will pre-order that even if I decide against it in the end. I think I said that in that video, but that is where I am right now. I do want to give this another chance, because if I, in the take a note, that journaling that I did here often ended up in those daily columns, which I am not against, but also it doesn't really have to be. So I'm gonna see for the next 3-4 weeks. And also definitely the pricing is an issue. Like if this turns out to be so expensive that it's not worth it, if I really want to use an A5 journal, I looked at my journals the other day, my box of journals, of empty journals, and I will insert a photo right here. I have so many notebooks for the next 20 million years. I can totally repurpose one. I am always super hesitant to use a plain notebook because for some reason I feel like I am freer in these spaces that suggest. Why do I feel like that I need to break out of the strict constrictions of this journal, and I'm more creative and more free in something like this than a blank notebook? That is something that I have been trying to figure out for quite a bit. But that's how my brain works. So I am really very, very how do I say this? Very afraid actually to go and get into a journal that is blank. Now, I would like to continue journaling because that's why we are here. So, I want to write a little snippet about blood work, and maybe I should do that right now. Alrighty, so I need to close my door. So I just wanted to show you something here. This feels like there is some resistance of the watercolor not going onto the paper, and I've had that same experience with ink. I think it was here, and I'm wondering if this is hand oils or if I'm just, I don't know. It felt odd. I really like my pens on here too. Wow. I actually wrote more than I thought I would, which is odd. Now, I have a little snippet that I want to put here. However, I don't really want to address it too much in the video. But the other thing that I would want to put here is somehow thinking of obligatory sandwich, but also paddleboarding or something. So that's where I'm hung up. And then I can write my snippet about that right here. And then I can write about my newest obsession under here. So I have this tab that opens up. Now, what color am I? I feel like there's green here, there's green here. So the most logical thing to put here would be green. However, I am actually really not like, how do I put paddleboarding here? Paddleboarding or maybe if we do some arrow thing like that and then put here obligatory sandwich, that could work. And then what if I write Sunday or even sticker Sunday? I could do that too. I have so many options. I think what I'm going to do first, but now there is red down here. So wouldn't it make more sense to put that here and not use green? Yes, but the mixing place on this palette is super small, or I am just not doing it right. Most likely I'm not doing it right because I have so much purple left here. But if I am just, what if I go, we'll use this. Wow, this is going to be super dirty. This red is so odd. What if we just get in more from this here? Add some water, because water is always a good idea. We can do this. We can do this. Every time I use these watercolors on here, I feel like I should probably use gouache. That is another rabbit hole that I'm not willing to go down. But obligatory. I need to remember that I haven't written it yet. That I'm not at the A just yet, and I need to erase that as well. See, here, it's also not going on here well. So this must be hand oils. How do we like this? I like this. And then the arrow. How about we try and make it really fat? And then come in like that. I like this. Now I just have to figure out if I can erase the stuff underneath. And then let's see if I can find a nice Sunday sticker. See, that's what I mean. There's a lot of red watercolor on here now that I don't need, but I know, it's me, I'm the problem. So let's figure something out. I also got these Labubus. Now this is La Poo Poo, actually, from Sugar Turtle Studio. Aren't these cool? Maybe, nope, it's not gonna work. So I have thrown all of my stuff in here that I want to use, possibly. It's not, I don't think it's the best idea ever. So it's Labor Day weekend as well, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot. I wanted to, maybe I can use this somehow. I need to cut this out, totally. Which, actually, here's the green that we were looking for. What was I going to say? I want to go hiking tomorrow, which means but tomorrow is Monday, so that can go over there. I'm looking for something that I can put right here. That's why I'm so slow with my stuff. This one would work well, but it's actually too big. These are all so cute, man. Mike is doing such a great job. I'm basically only using her things, mostly. Or that's at least how it feels. That I am mainly using all of the stuff that she's bringing out. This is so cute. None of this fits. This is something that I could actually put into my sticker release notebook. Maybe I can do that later. Here's another one of these. Okay. And I feel like when I'm putting these types of things in there, it's getting so fat, and also there's not a lot of room. But maybe that's just my brain telling me that this is not how I can use this. I've been very inspired or encouraged to maybe think about a ring binder as a creative journal by Brandy Kincaid. And I'm saying not inspired, but reminded, because I had this idea when I still lived at the very first place I lived here. So that means at least 5 or 6 years ago, I thought about doing that. But I have never actually taken the plunge to doing that, but maybe I should. Maybe that would be the thing. But then I'm like, if I really enjoy the paper, Tomoe River paper, and put that in a ring binder, it's gonna rip out and it's gonna look so bad. None of this. Oh, this is so perfect. I need to stick this somewhere. This works perfectly with this, for sure. It works for every single piece of my life. Sometimes I wonder if I don't have something to overthink, maybe I'm not happy, or maybe I'm just a really broken person. Could also be. Both things might be true. It's also nice to acquaint yourself. This is what I took with me to Germany. So I put all of those tip-in washi tapes. This is sticker release stuff. Yeah, I still have a lot to do. In order to, I always feel like, see, I'm not finishing my sentences. I always feel like, oh yeah, I have to get a grip or a handle on my stuff. But first of all, who says that? Also, I did not pay this much money for this pack, just in case you're wondering. That's the reason why I'm sticking it in. I am collecting, putting together my backpacking gear. My goal is to go on a backpacking trip, actually try it out, basically in my neighborhood, at the end of September, going away in October, and I'm going to go on a backpacking trip then. So I need to try that stuff out, maybe adjust, and then go. But I took advantage of the REI Labor Day sale and got this pack for $129, I believe, or maybe $39. It was reduced, it was affordable, because we spent a lot of money when we were traveling, trying to recoup a little. And so I'm trying to not, like, it was like, you can buy one thing in that Labor Day sale. Try and see what makes most sense. Maybe a heart? Why though? Because heart and blood? Oh, I like that one though. Does anyone care? Yeah, me. I don't like it. But maybe I need to use one in. Oh, this looks so nice. I love this one. I'm going to put this here because I'm going to incorporate it in the next one. This doesn't fit here. So first thought was, I always feel like I need to get a grip on my stationery stuff, but actually, do I? Do I really? Is that a thing? And there's a lot of stuff that I still need to do in order to be able to do that. And I actually really like this. Maybe I should try this with fountain pen ink. Maybe we should try that right now. Maybe we should. So I'm looking for something for here. And I'm looking if I have the date stickers. You know what? here, I have another tangent. I seem to be talking in tangents today. This I made while I was still living in the San Francisco Bay Area. I made this with basically collaged this kind of. And this is basically where I live in romanticized, but it needs to be more deserty, high desert style. So like sagey colors and yellow and like desert. And obviously there need to be a little bit more houses. But I didn't think I was going to make the place where I live as a collage when I wasn't even living here yet. And I love this. This is basically, I feel like this is where I live. I love this so much. Oh, what about this one? Does it even have a thing? Like, how is this related to that? Something, just in case you're interested in, well, if you want to see how amazing design works, then you're obviously not watching my channel, but you're watching Maike from Cat Collage Club, who is the designer of these amazing cats. But something that makes a book cohesive when you're flipping through is, for instance, I've used these dots here and here, so making sure that I'm using them again in the next pages makes this book look cohesive when I'm flipping through. That's why I'm actually sticking it there so I don't forget. You know what? I'm just going to let these go. Sometimes that's exactly what you need to do. This one I thought might be, but also it doesn't fit the color scheme. For some reason, I feel like a heart is related to blood, maybe because that's where, but this one could actually work. So I'm going to pull this out. So why does Maike not have busy, busy? Busy, busy could also work. Why does Maike not have a nurse? I still need to cut all of these out. What the heck? Man. Or I just need to pass them along to someone else who could use these. Because clearly I'm not using them fast enough. You know what? I'm just going to give up. Oh, yes, I remember. The reason why I even came here is that now I put them on the wrong pile. That is absolutely and totally me. Might I be tired? I might. That's also not. Okay. I was looking for a Sunday sticker thing. There's more stuff here. So maybe it's in here. Don't you just love flipping through my ephemera stuff with me? Isn't that like the best way to go about it? You know what? I think I remember seeing days of the week right here. Yep, but there's probably not as, oh. You know what? This actually could even fit. And I just saw, I think this might be a good idea. So let's see. But also, if I find, I thought maybe one of these would work. That's not here. This. Ugh, no. So. Obviously, there's not a Sunday here, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Sunday. Is that what we want to put in here? I mean, let me cut it. And maybe I need to print more of my weekly date stickers. Who am I even? So, scissors. These are just leftovers. Sometimes I surprise myself. I look at this and I'm like, oh, I actually really like this. I'm not taking myself extremely seriously as an artist. But maybe sometimes, maybe I should do that more than I actually think. That's probably part of the self-worth thing. So even though I like this, I think it's taking away too much. I'm just going to make the decision to put this here. So okay, this. What I often do is I stick it in there and then I go with my thumb and rip it in half, because then it doesn't give me any stress there. So, and then I was possibly putting this here. Let's cut this out. Oh, I was going to put the lake sticker here too. So is this the right thing? Or is this the right thing? This. I was so I don't know. As I said, I'm always overthinking things, and when I have a lot of choices, maybe that's also the decision-making fatigue. So I needed to go get blood work done at the last insurance that was Kaiser in California. They usually have these humongous medical facilities where everything is in one building, and then you just go. There's no choice, really. They have a lab, and that's where you go when you need to get lab work done. So for me, that is fantastic, because then I do not have to make another appointment. I have to not call another number. Like, all of those barriers of entry that I don't have is very helpful for me to get those things done. Now, with my new insurance, I have to do everything separately. And I think that's the standard here in the United States, if I'm not mistaken. So we were kind of spoiled. That's also not how things usually work in Germany. Just like pointing that out. It's not normal that you would have everything under one roof. But I think it's really fantastic. Now, so, okay, you have I check, so what lab facilities are supported by my insurance. There's like maybe 5 different locations of the same one, and then another one that is supported by my insurance. And so now, which one do I choose? Like, do I make an appointment? Do I go as a walk-in? Do I trust the reviews on Yelp or Google or wherever I go, or do I not? Do I choose by what do the reviews say, the location, the time that they open? As I said, do I book an appointment? When is that appointment? All of that is basically the worst for me. Not sure if this is something that is, maybe I'm not the only one. Maybe everyone is like me, and that is awesome. Or not awesome for me, not good for everyone else. However, so I read waiting time is horrendous. You get there as a walk-in. I checked for appointments. The earliest appointment was end of September. I'm like, okay, that's too long. So walk-in it is. Then I read all of the reviews on walk-ins. And they say, basically, you were sitting there for hours on hours and it's really bad. People are super unfriendly. Nothing works. It's the worst. Every single location, every single review, same thing. So that is absolutely and totally discouraging, as you can imagine. So do I put the lake? No, I think I have enough words. I need more pictures. Yeah. So I thought, you know what? Let me think of when are we able to eat an early dinner so that if they open at 7, so I have to be done eating by dinner by 7 because I can only have water or coffee, black coffee before that. Okay. So then I figure out, okay, Mondays would be good. Wednesdays would be okay. Those are the best days for me, or Sunday nights. So no, Sunday night is not good because I'm the first one at work. So if I have to wait for a long time, then I won't be there on time, blah, 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 blah. I'm like super worried about stuff. Too much, not good. What if I cut around this? Am I ruining the picture? Ugh. It's not working. It's not enough. Well, what about this? Nope. Okay. I'll just not put it here. Let me finish my story and I hate when that happens. And then I can write. So I am so discouraged that I then think, what if I just don't go? And when I've had that thought, the best thing that I have been able to do for myself at that specific time was to say to my husband that we need to be done with dinner by 7 because I was going to go get blood drawn the next morning and I needed to be there by 7. Because, man, having a supportive partner is so good because he then I didn't carry this by myself. I was able to have the support that I needed to get myself out the door and be there by 7. I was there by 7:08, but I mean, hadn't I told anyone, I might have just decided, you know what, it's already too late. Let me do this tomorrow or something like that. But because I had the pressure of an accountability partner, I went there and it went so fast. I was there. I was at work early. Because I was done by 7:30, 7:35, I think I left. And then I was at my work at 7:55. It's like, what the heck? I was actually expecting to be late to work. So I'm so glad I did that. And the people were friendly. The blood draw went over really quickly. I chose my left arm, which I probably shouldn't have because that's the arm where it's harder to find a good vein to draw blood from. Do we draw blood from veins or arteries? She does not know her body. And she still was able to do it so quickly, so professionally. Like, heck yeah, I'm so glad I did this. So, but this is about Sunday, where I want to write about my paddle boarding experience, which is basically nothing much. I didn't really paddleboard. We're still like, let's talk about Max for a second. Max is the most, I know that a lot of dogs are very excitable, but he is really like excitable, super anxious a lot of the time, which makes him not the greatest beginner dog, but we're learning finally, like he's almost 2 now, to handle him better. But he was so excited. He was so into the water. He is not staying on the paddleboard yet for a long time, but he is just having so much fun on that board and in the water. He's such a water dog. He loved it. And we did, like, the mistake that we made was we brought out a toy, and so we couldn't get him to stop focusing on that toy, which probably was part of his anxiety, like just channeled to an object. And I'm okay with that for now. Next time we're going, it's going to be better. Maybe we're not going to take a toy so he can just swim. Last time we went, I don't think we took a toy, so he swam between my son and my paddleboard back and forth. Also didn't stay on there for longer, but he was very focused on us too. And this time he was very focused on the toy. You know, we're learning and adjusting, but it was a lot of fun. And the cool thing was that not just my youngest came with us, but also my middle one. So we actually made a family excursion while my husband was running. So, gonna stop and write. Oh, I did want to mention, because as you can see, I'm having a hard time getting this to start. I have found that the Wren, I think I wrote with this earlier and it didn't have a hard start with this Lumos Duo. The Wren does have hard starts occasionally. However, it gets going really quickly. And the ink that is in here is Diatramentis Document Black. I haven't tried it with any other inks, so I can't say if this is a thing that happens with document inks or Diatramentis. However, it does write really well right after, so I'm not concerned about these hard starts. Another design tip is to vary your handwriting with different tip sizes. Write smaller so you can visually distinguish between your journal entries. Okay, here comes my newest obsession. I don't think I'm gonna stick anything here. Well, maybe not this, but maybe this is might actually be really fun. What if I put that right here or down here? No, I don't like that. What if we put it like so? I kind of like how this stands out. And yes, I know this might have a direction, this pattern, but I'm not concerned about these kinds of things most of the time. Yep. Okay. For me, this is the title. Now, I'm kind of afraid that I'm thinking of maybe underlining this, or even Maybe I'll just leave it like that, backpacking. And then this, I think, I'm actually still going to get a green out or mix a green. What if I use this as a starting point? How do we make sagier greens more yellow? I have no clue. This is now very, very, very grassy. What if we add a little bit of ochre? And this is titanium buff. Yeah, this could be it. So I feel like I need to come in with this Lumos Duo and outline the title just like I did here, and maybe here as well. Now, unfortunately, I am making a mistake. I will show you what I mean in a second. So I think what I want to do is west. So if I fold this down, you can see the N over here. That is kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is. I think I will outline this so that it fits in with the rest, and I'm not very precise with that. Now that was a weird one, the D. And then I think I'm not going to outline newest. I didn't think you could obsess about this stuff so much, but it's like, so obviously there is a ton of backpacking gear out there. Cheap, expensive, heavy, light. There is so many opinions on what is good and what is bad. And I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna get this. And then I started watching YouTube. And then I started doing research. And then I started thinking about what my use case might be. And now I'm like so deep in it. I need to outline it as well. So now I know that I'm a wimpy kid. So actually it would be really important if things are lighter than, or if I can make sure that I'm getting light stuff, because well, I have back problems, and the heavier the backpack, the easier it is for that to be a reason why I wouldn't enjoy it. And yes, I can train, but also still, that's a good point to consider. Then of course there's budget limitations. Then of course there's stuff that is just supposedly good, but actually it isn't. So many people have already tested it. And then there's stuff that you don't really need, but then there's stuff that you really need, and then there's stuff that is nice to have, but not something that you need right now. So figuring out what is really like the most essential that I can test it out once and then build from there. Maybe get the convenient stuff that could be nice, not necessary to have. But also, like, if I go budget on this thing, how much is the upgrade to the not budget, but maybe the lightweight? So what I've learned is the cheaper it is, the heavier most of the time. Not necessarily worse in the sense that it doesn't perform well, but heavy, bulky. So you're not just having a heavier pack, but you also have more. The volume is bigger to carry. So you might look like a pack mule. Okay, so is the distance between the budget to the upgrade is like, how much is the weight difference and how much is the price difference? Like if there's only, I'm talking, let's say 100. 100 is like a consideration that I would make between budget gear and the first lightweight more professional outdoor gear, then maybe I would actually do the $100 jump. But if there's like a $300 gap or even a $400 to $500 gap, that's something where I really need to weigh my options and to like, is this really necessary? And so, like, for instance, let's talk about the tent. I've already decided that I'm going with my favorite backpacking YouTuber out there is Miranda Goes Outside. If you're interested in backpacking and you want someone who is fun, who's not taking themselves too seriously, check out Miranda Goes Outside. Now, she had a whole series on budget backpacking I'm only going backpacking with stuff from this shop, with stuff from Walmart, blah, blah, blah. And she had one tent from Walmart that is $80 compared to the $500 to $600 lightweight, ultra light backpacking tents that are available. Like, that is an immense amount. So that's the tent that I'm going to get. Because I also want to see, because the goal is to take Max backpacking one day. So I don't want to buy an expensive tent that is so lightweight and thus fragile that he's just going to shred it to pieces the first time he sees the tent. So I think by going with that really cheap, $80 is still a lot of money, with a cheap tent and just trying that, using that tent then to train Max, to get him used to having a tent, getting him inside, seeing how affected that material is going to be by dog paws and all that jazz. I think that's a super smart decision to make. That is one of those decisions that I'm like, oh yeah, that is makes so much sense. Yeah. But then there's so many other things where I'm like, I have no clue what I'm going to do, how I'm going to decide. I don't have backpacking friends. If you're a backpacker, like, email me your gear list. Email me why you chose that stove over that stove, why you chose this sleeping bag over that sleeping bag. Tell me where you're going to go, where you're backpacking, because if it rains a lot in your place, maybe it's not in mine. So maybe that is not a consideration that I have to make. Oh my God, there's so many details that you can think of. I have found my new obsession, and obviously it's perfect for me because you can think about so many things. And yes, I think sometimes you need to think yourself into a topic, but where is the boundary between this is still healthy, necessary overthinking, and this is already like sure insane. Okay, I'm gonna write, and then I'm gonna come back one last time to show you how this spread looks, and then I'm gonna call it a day. All right, so the last thing that I still need to do here, I just wrote what I actually told you, that I'm knee deep into making a list, watching reviews, comparing prices, material, weights, and all that jazz. I'm waiting until September 19th before I'm buying stuff, and then I need to test it before we leave for that thing. So I kind of feel like there needs to be something here, but I don't have it in me to find something. Maybe some of that washi that I had earlier. Oh well, I thought of putting this underneath, but I think I'm going to just do it this way. So August 25, 2025. Maybe we're going this way first. So August 31st is today. And we're going to stick that right here. And then August 25th. Wow, I should have done it the other way around. Who cares? Goes basically right here. And then I can put the 2 right in between. There we go. And I am just going to call this spread done. Let me quickly put this here. There we go. This is how this looks. I think that's a good. I think this documented my last week pretty well. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you again next time. Until then, bye.